Hey everyone, welcome to this live session. We are slowly starting up. So I'm just waiting for my guest to join. Hey, nice to see you here. Doing a little wave there. Amazing. Cool to see everyone here already. Just handing out a few waves. So today, actually, I will be accompanied by a student from 42 Amsterdam. Well, from the name of 42 Amsterdam is actually Codam. Ah, there we go. Let's see. I'm gonna invite. Let's see if he's. Can everyone hear me? By the way, it's always good to check. So wait for Michiel to join in. Yay! Hey, Michiel.
Oh, it's change camera. There we go.
There we go. Yay! You're live for the first time in your life.
Um,
Can you hear me?
hear you at the moment?
Okay, let's see. I can hear you, so
That's a bit of an issue.
hey, 42 Bangkok, that's awesome that you're here as well. We would love to have you in this live session as well. Hey,
Yes.
Michiel, you can hear me?
Yes.
Yay, welcome to your very, very first live session.
Thank you.
This is really great. This is really cool to see you. It's been, I guess, a few months that we saw each other in real life.
It's been a couple of months, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's really, really nice. Well, welcome to this live session. So just for everyone who is watching, my name is Lisa. I'm the marketing lead at 42 Wolfsburg, but also doing these live sessions since a few weeks. So I ask every time a different student from the 42 network to join in. So if you're listening and you're a student for 42 network, you can always join in as well. And these sessions are planned to actually have a little bit of a Q&A with a student from an actual student from the 42 network, because obviously I can talk for hours and hours how awesome 42 is, but I think it's always best to have someone that is actually a student. And today with me is Michiel. Michiel, you just started the curriculum. That's
Yes,
true,
I
right?
did.
Yeah. And
Just over a month ago, yeah.
just over a month ago. Okay, so that's really cool because it means that the Piscine is still fresh in your mind. So for everyone who wants to ask a question, you can see in the bottom of the story, you can see a little question mark with a cloud around it. You can click on that and leave your question there. That is the best way to leave your question because then they don't get into the chat and I won't lose them. So if you have your question, leave them there. In the meantime, of course, I also have a list of questions. So I will just run you through all of that. So let's dive right in. So let's start. Like, who are you? Where are you from? How old are you?
Yeah, I'm Michiel. I'm from the Netherlands. I grew up in Lelystad in the polder. And yeah,
Cool. And how old are you?
but, oh yeah, I'm 25, 25 years old.
25. Nice, nice. And actually, you told me before a bit of your favorite hobbies. Can you let me know again?
Yes. My favorite game is to play StarCraft 2. It's a real-time strategy game. And I also enjoy playing Dungeons and Dragons and doing cosplay.
Nice. I would love to learn Dungeons and Dragons for years already. So next time in the Netherlands, I would love to
Oh,
join that.
definitely. Like
Yeah, that's
during the Piscine, we'll get to this later, but we did a one shot there.
nice. Yeah, I remember I seeing some students play at 42 as well.
Yeah.
So what actually made you sign up to 42 Amsterdam or to Codam, but no, probably most people know it as 42, 42 Amsterdam. What made you sign up? What made you join in the first place? Do you remember?
Well, I remember very clearly because I had just a couple of months before I learned of Codam and the 42 network and what that was all about. I had quit my studies quite suddenly as through more personal reasons, but I was left with like no direction and the feeling that going into another college degree or university degree wasn't really going to do anything for me anymore. Um, and then suddenly, from actually 3 of my family members within the span of a week, I got an article about when the Queen visited Codam.
I remember that,
And
yes.
at that point, I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to look into this and try to enroll. And now, about a year later, here I am.
What was the thing that attracted you the most about the educational model or about the school?
Um, well, yeah, it was mostly the educational model where I already had that feeling that the normal university and college education, I'd already gone through a couple of courses in those, and I felt like I couldn't go anywhere in that anymore. I didn't have any motivation to go through those systems, sit through lectures and all that.
Mm.
And in researching more, I started also thinking back, yeah, what are the things where I actually did learn the most? And that was when I was just in classes, but I had someone there that, as a peer, that I worked together with, and that's also the classes I learned most from and remember best.
That makes sense. Hey, I got a question from someone who is asking, well, asking a few different things, but one of them is, what are the requirements to sign up to register?
There are no requirements to sign up. At least they have an online test that you go through, and based on that, you get invited to sign up for a PC.
Uh, Can you tell us a little bit what the piscine is? Because maybe not everyone
Yeah,
knows yet.
the PC. It's a very fitting name as it's swimming pool in French, and it's a month long where you get dropped in with everyone else who made it to the piscine, and you just get a whole lot of coding knowledge that you need to run through. Got lots of different projects, and um, it feels incredibly overwhelming, but it's an incredible experience where everyone is in the same boat and confused for the first week, and then you start getting into a rhythm of figuring it out together.
That's definitely true. Do you have sort of a biggest learning of the PC? Like when the PC was over, you're like, ah, this was the biggest thing that I've learned throughout this 4 weeks.
Yeah, and for me, it was mostly how to fail and then keep going, go to the next thing.
Yeah, that's
Because
I see that. Yeah.
yeah,
That's definitely true. And so someone else is asking, and this is for every school that's different. So I will answer it from for to Wolfsburg, but in Amsterdam I know it works a bit different. So someone is asking like, are there courses or is the piscine entirely online? So actually in Wolfsburg we're gonna do the piscine entirely remote. However, we made sure that we set up an entire Discord server that is basically like being in a building and replicating the peer-to-peer learning as successful as possible. But the piscine will be remote, but of course the curriculum will be as much as possible in person, as on the long term peer-to-peer learning on long term works the best in person. For a piscine it's fine, but on the long term it's better to do in the building. So how does it work in Amsterdam for the piscines? Do you know?
I'm not sure about the future scenes as with the current global situation. It's still up in
Tricky.
the air. But RP scenes were on location with lots of security measures in place to keep distance and have everyone spread out.
Yeah, I remember indeed. So speaking a bit more about the piscine, can you maybe describe for us your most favorite, but also maybe your least favorite moment?
Yeah. I'm thinking my most favorite moment, and this is what eventually led to the D&D session we did, where I was just, you know, talking to someone, and very to the side mentioned that I did that, and immediately she was super excited, like, "Oh yeah, I also always loved doing these, loved going to try that, but never found anyone to do it. And that kind of, in the span of 2 weeks, grew into a lot of people actually having interest in us getting a group together. And I was really surprised at how quickly so many like-minded people just formed around one little idea.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And maybe
And
do you have a least favorite moment as well?
I do have a least favorite moment, which is from the first week, because at the end of each week in our Piscine, you had an exam of all the information you probably didn't get through during that week. And I remember being about 30 seconds too late to make my train, which means I was 5 minutes too late to get inside. And then you don't get inside.
Yeah. And then the
Yeah.
second and the third and the fourth exam, you made sure to
Oh, I
be.
definitely made sure I was like half an hour early.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, is there something you would say to people like what would be your reason, or maybe if one of your best friends would be curious to join the PC but wasn't sure, what would you say to that friend? Like what would you tell them?
Oh, I would say definitely do it, even if because for one, the amount of coding things you learn during the PC is already incredible. It's a lot of information, but I was actually surprised how much I retained of all of it.
Oh yeah.
And but it also has a lot of other things that that come with that as well that you learn. For instance, for me, I was already struggling with if I failed a test or a project, that would hit me pretty hard and getting over that. But I've also seen people who weren't very social or social at all at the start of the PC, and at the end of it really improved. Not necessarily, wonderfully were a social butterfly, but it was notable improvement that they got through that.
Well, and so you said at the beginning, you said next to programming, there's also a lot of other things to learn. So I guess one of those things will be the social skills. Is there something else you see that people also learn?
Um, yeah, well, it's mostly what I've paid attention to at least is mostly the people who aren't that social really getting more into the social aspects and through that also becoming better at getting the information they needed for the programming.
That's true. Oh, actually have a question that I missed before, but I would love to know. Did you have any experience with programming before you joined the PC?
I did actually. The studies I did before finding out about Codam was electrical engineering, and in electrical engineering you have some actually happen to be C programming courses. So I did already have that experience. But yeah, even then there was some points I hit on in my own studies, and when I tried doing some programming on my own, and with Codam, with like a few days work and all the people around helping, it really stuck in my mind.
Yeah, I can imagine. So how does that normally work? Like you go into the piscine the first few days, you open a project, and then you realize there's something you have absolutely no clue about. Like how do you start? How does that work? Because oftentimes I get the question, yeah, but how do you learn without a teacher? So maybe you can describe for us a little bit how that works.
Yeah. So for us, the first day was very quickly very quiet in the room, and everyone just started to work on their own things. And you do research on Google and however you would do it normally if you try to learn it at home. But I remember like halfway through the first day, we had one of the students who was on one of these before Candace was in the same room, who was just absolutely done with it and started to just talk to other people, and through that we got, oh, you happen to have figured out this one thing I was stuck on, but I had figured out this thing you were struggling with. And but by the end of the first day, we all kind of shared the information we got.
That's really awesome. I love that. So someone is asking, do you think people with coding experience have a better position in the PC?
Um, that is hard to say. I think it's less daunting at first in the PC because you already kind of know the first two projects and you can run through that. But a better position, you start off with more of a you are the source of information for some people instead of you looking for the information for some people. But it's still very quickly you come to a point where your knowledge runs out, and then you are stuck just like everyone else and are getting frustrated just like everyone else. Um, so maybe a bit for the first week or so, but very quickly that falls away.
Yeah, I experienced that, yes. That's really nice. And now, so now you are accepted into the
Yeah,
curriculum. So you started as a student a month ago, you said at the beginning. So can you tell us a
yeah.
little bit more about the project that you're working on at the moment? Because that's the first project, right?
Not anymore. I've
Ah,
validated the first project, and the
yes.
first project was a really fun one. I think additionally because I have some experience with programming in C, because you start building an entire library of of just
Wow.
basic functions that most C programming courses just tell you, okay, use this. And no, you're not allowed to use that. You need to make that, and then you're allowed to use what you made.
Love
If there's
that.
problems with what you made, that's your problem to deal with.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and I had used like a lot of these functions already in my previous C courses, but that's just, yeah, okay, I know how to use it for these specific things, and now I really feel like I know how to use it for whatever I want.
Wow. So you will use those functions basically throughout your curriculum then?
Yeah,
Your own
as
written functions. That's really
yeah.
cool. That's really nice. And maybe it's a bit early to say, I don't know, but do you already have an idea of which direction you would like to specialize in eventually?
Uh, yeah, I have a strong lean towards the graphical and video games side.
Yes.
Uh, but I also keep an eye on AI
Oof.
uh,
Yes.
because yeah, it's a lot of fun things.
Yes.
But yeah, graphics and visual are graphics and gaming. I played StarCraft 2 and very much involved with keeping an eye on what gaming companies are doing. But I've also done some minor modeling work in my spare 3D modeling making
Wow.
work in my spare time, and learning of like, oh yeah, this is how a ray tracing engine works, or this is how the maths behind those programs work is fascinating.
It's tough as far as I know. It's really, really,
Yeah.
really, really fascinating. I didn't expect that for the graphics brands. Oh, that's really cool. So do you well, it will be a while anyway because it will take you a few months to go to your first internship. But do you already have your eyes on some companies you would like to work at?
Uh, not not exactly. Well, there's of course Guerrilla Games, the game studio
Oh,
in the Netherlands, which would
yes,
be
of
an
course.
absolute dream. But I've not looked much further than just oh, these big names I know of, and that will be great.
Of course. That's cool. And so I actually have a question from someone who's asking, is a part-time job during the curriculum possible? And he's asking, what is your opinion about that?
Uh, I do think it is possible, but it's it's a lot of work you need to do to keep up with the curriculum, and you really need to be good at your time management to add an additional part-time job to it.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. What I see with most students is that they will have like a 2 or 3 days part-time job next to the curriculum to sustain for yourself. And what I also see is that students who do their first internship, that's not for everyone, but quite a few, they actually get offered a part-time job at their internship company. So that's also very, very positive because then you can
Yeah,
learn at the job while also continuing to specialize into the curriculum. So that will be
yeah,
ideal, I think. Well,
yeah, that would be great.
this is very nice. So I actually run through my questions. Do you have
Okay.
something you would like to mention or say, or feel that I missed out? Maybe.
Um, Putting me on the spot here. Not good at that.
Sorry. You can
Yeah,
also say
just
no.
well, just if you're have any interesting code or are looking at what like different education systems would maybe work better for you than sitting in a lecture hall for 3 hours of your day, then really, really look into 42 and what they're doing. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's very sweet. Well, see, putting on the spot gives very, very nice, brings very nice sentences. Thank you so much. This was really, really lovely. It was very nice to see you again, and I wish you
Yeah,
all the
likewise.
best. Say hi
You
to
too.
everyone back in the Netherlands, and hopefully we'll see each other again.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, thank you very much. Bye bye.
Goodbye.
Bye everyone. Bye everyone. Thank you for